Hello everyone, welcome to this session, another session on our special series around the fish theme, Fishies and Tangles. Yeah, so basically creating Zentangle inspired art using the fish theme, right? So I have another tile in front of me. These are all Zendalas and I have already floated the strings, right? So this is the string that we are going to be working on today. It's a simple fish in a crossing each other, right? So let's get started and see how we can use this string today. Yeah, so I'm first going to be inking the string, the fishes. So we will then decide how do we want to go about further. So till now all the tiles that we have drawn, we have inked, we have tangled inside the fish also, right? So let's see what happens if we don't do that and keep the fish as it is. What say? So instead of this fin here, I'm going to add this here, change of plans there. Yeah, like this, right? And then ink the second one. Like this, right? You can again add this thing here, right? So we have inked the fish, and the unwanted things you can always remove it, since we are using a theme here. It's an inspired art. So the eraser, otherwise there is no use of eraser in Zentangle. Yeah, so I got rid of the lines that were not required. Now you can see what kind of shapes do we have here with us, right? So here is a nice heart kind of a shape, right? So we can always insert a nice pattern here. Let's see which one. So I'm going to add another pencil heart here, right? And then start somewhere from here and draw the pattern aqua flare, right? So it will kind of enclose the heart, a slight curve at the end of the line, right? So we have already done this pattern, something like pepper, just that it can be drawn in any shape, and the inside space that it encloses is always drawn in pencil, just like you can draw it with pen also. We'll see if we want to do that. So I am shifting the center here a little bit, right? So just using this base, which was like a heart, for my tangle aqua flare. I'm going to try and fold it in here. Like this, right? Now if you want, you can add that ink connecting the heart. Yeah, so that's our heart. Now rest of the spaces again. What I feel like doing here is probably just add some ink and create bold sections with some tipple using my jelly roll. Let's see if we can do that. Yeah, so I'll just show you. So I'll pick up my O8 now and ink so the idea is to keep the fish white, and so that it looks bold enough, it would be a good idea to ink the rest of the space black and then probably do something over it or tangle over it or add something else, right? So that's the whole thing. That's what I'm trying to do here, and we will see if we want to do anything to the fishes later. Right now I'm just inking the spaces that have been created. Yeah, so take your time and do that exercise with a bolder pen. So I am still in the process of inking, and you can see the kind of boldness that it adds to the white fishes. Yes, so that was the whole idea. Also sometimes called as white out. Yeah, so you leave something white and tangle around it. So I've also enclosed the upper section of the heart, left the heart as it is, right? And because it was a nice shape formed, so I inserted the heart there, and now I'm inking the rest of the section, rest of the space that is left. Yeah, so I think we are done with that exercise of inking, right? And we will come back to it a little later. What do we want to add on that black, right? Probably simple dots with our jelly roll. Now let us start tangling on the outside. Now outside is again open to whole lot of tangles that you can use from. So let us use a mix of tangles here, right? So I'm going to start with these rays or kite-like tangles which were used by Maria in one of her project packs. Right, so I'm starting with this tangle, two lines close to each other, stingray kind of a two triangles on two sides of the stems. Right, simple. I'll show you once more. Overlapping, drawing behind, again going behind here, going behind here, right? So I'm going to insert few here also. Triangle. I had also floated a tangulation of this, wherein I inserted some more triangles under the main, which I call the tangle frill, in case you're following me on my Facebook and Insta. So the tangle frill also starts like this, and then we have some more triangles underneath these triangles. right? So added some here, probably one or two here also. So just go with the flow. Once we have drawn these shapes, let us now add something inside. So I'm going to be adding simple printums, my go-to tangle. You can add any other tangle of your choice. Yeah, you can vary the tangles, add different tangles inside each one of them. Probably we'll also do that. We'll leave a few of them empty. Yeah. Right, so I will probably leave this one empty and not fill it and just shade it. Yeah, so let us insert something else. So I'm going to just add lines in hybrid fashion here. Yeah, so spaces are small, so take your time. That's one. Again the same thing. On the other side. Yeah, and the third one. And I'm going to again leave one as it is, probably just shade it. Again you can add anything of your choice, so I'll just add a nice fragment, something like this, and ink the rest. Yeah, probably leave one as it is. Right, so whole lot of tangles that you can choose from. Now let us add something else. So I'm going to add some other tangle, probably poke roots, but before that I'm going to first add some fescues, just coming out from any direction, everywhere, big ones, small ones. So just take your time, enjoy the process. Fescue is a very versatile tangle, excellent filler. You can use it as a standalone also. You can grow it on a stem. So lot of things that you can do with it. So I have inserted some fescues. So I'm first going to aura them. probably 2 or 3 times. Yeah. So continuing to aura my fescues. Just start with 2 or 3 auras. Take your time. Go slow and closely aura your fescues. So auraing, a simple exercise but a very important part of Zentangle process. Almost every important tangle has this aura feature attached to it, or you can add to any of the tangle auras and enhance its look. So a very important enhancer, a very integral part of many of the Zentangle patterns, auras. Yeah, so I'm just going on auraing my fescues. So rest of the spaces, now I'm going to, if the spaces are big enough, I'm going to add some poke roots. Otherwise I will just go with simple tipples. Yeah, so what I'm doing here is now enclosing the area between the fescues like this. Right, so we have created one enclosed area. Just going to add some fescues, some orbs here, tipple. Small little spaces, I'm going to add some tipple. So it's just going with the flow depending on whatever spaces I have. I'm just deciding on where what. So a little scope here, so I'm going to add some poke roots here. Right, in between spaces, again if the space is too small you can ink it, or you can add some more tipples, whatever you feel like. Again some poke roots. So take your time and slowly insert patterns as per the spaces available. Yeah. Going with simple orbs at some places. Going with poke roots. Yeah. So I'm just going to continue like this. So doing a mix of poke roots and tipple here, right? So go slow, take your time, and nicely fill up these enclosed spaces with tangle of your choice. This is just a suggestion, as I keep saying. You can always choose some other tangle. I always see the space that I have so that I don't have to alter tangles too much, and I can do justice with the space. Yeah, so that's one thing. But again, entirely up to you, your choice of tangles, right? So now let us move to the next. So very small little space, best to go with tipple, but don't forget to enclose it first. You can also ink it if you want, right? So now I'm going to enclose this space, add tipple, right? So again, there's a small little space. You can just about add a small shape there, right? So again, trying to enclose, create one more enclosure. So just going with the spaces, outlining what I have, not going to go too far. Come back around my fescue again, around my fescue, come back around my fescue, around my fescue, and join it here, right? So again, I'm going to do the same exercise. A nice space created here, so I'm just going to add one big poke root, add some orbs, right? Small spaces here, so better go with tipple, right? Again, small spaces here, better go with tipple. Yeah, now you can think of adding some poke roots. So add some big ones. Yeah. So I think you got a hang of how I'm going to progress now. So just continue like that, right? So I'm now in the last section. Have filled in the entire space in the same fashion that I mentioned, adding poke roots wherever I have a reasonable space, and going with simple tipple where spaces are small or very small. Yeah, so just finishing the last. Yeah, so we have done that. Now we will pick up our jelly roll, probably 10 or 08, whatever you have handy, right? And then just add some big and small orbs on this black section, or dots or puffs, whatever you want to call it. Yes, something like this. Need not be all of the same size. Going to second level, adding smaller dots. Like this. Yeah. Can add some big ones here and there. That's okay. So I'm going to do this exercise for all these sections. And one more. Yeah, just adding some puffs. So I have done that exercise of adding puffs. Give it 2 minutes to dry, right? So I'm not going to do anything inside the fishes, but if you have this scoring tool available with you, or even a ballpoint pen whose refill is gone bad, right? So you can always use that as a tool to add some kind of lines or curves on your fish, something like this. Right, so when we add gray, probably it will add some texture to your fish, and maybe it looks nice. I'm not pretty sure. I'm experimenting with you. Again, out of the way things that you always do. To enhance the look of your tile. Yeah, so again adding one more layer of these curves. Let's see if it adds a nice texture to our fish. I'm pressing it hard and just creating these endorsements. Yeah, can you see it? Yeah. So let us now move on to shading. Shading the outside space, just add shade on both sides. Looks pretty intricate stuff, right? So don't get into shading every element. So it's always a good idea to add on both sides. Kind of a tongue twister. So I'm just adding some thick graphite on the two sides edges. Yeah, so there are so many other things that you can do with the same theme. If you use a bigger paper, there are so many more options, but I wanted to stick to this Zentangle format more or less. Use the same tangles, use everything the same way, just use the fish theme, right? So but you can try on different mediums, different tools, different paper. So fish looks nice as a theme. You can tangle beautifully inside it as well as outside, right? So I've added some thick graphite on the edges, and now I'm going to just add some touch, very mild. In fact, you may not even do that. What is there in your tortillon would be sufficient to, because the white is the highlight here, so we don't want to make it too gray. So just a touch. Yeah, and now let us start to blend. So I'll just pull the graphite from the edge towards the center, but make sure you have a white center line. Yeah. So one small thing that I did while I was filling up the space was the one kite shape that I left blank. I drew a tangle inside them and then just inked it. So small little bits of black inside the filling will definitely add to the look. That's why I added some blacks in between, right? So that empty kite has been inked with an aura inside. Now with a very light hand, I'm just going to touch on my fish. Not add too much because I don't want it gray. I just want to, I'm just touching my tortillon. I'm not pushing it, just adding a little touch. Yeah, and then the heart, of course, how can we forget it? Yeah, so now moving on to our chalk pencil. Of course, highlight the heart, highlight the bands as they merge, right? Yeah, soften the chalk. And then highlight in the center white section. Right, so you can either soften with your different tortillon, or you can just move your hand around, just soften the chalk, blend it a little wherever it is patchy. Yeah, I think we are done. Nothing else required. A little more darkness at the edges of the heart. Yeah, that's it. I'm now going to close my tile here. So where do I add my chop? Oh, we have poke roots here. Right? So sign and date your tile. Right? So we have already drawn these tiles by now, right? And this is today's tile, this one. So the only tile left now is this, which we'll be drawing in the last session, right? So see you then. Have a nice time. Take care. Stay safe. Bye bye.